Hi, it's Colleen Schmidt from Divination Counseling Service. Today I'm going to present more asteroids. So I realized that 2 years ago I was on this really big roll where I did maybe a half a dozen or better videos on asteroids. And there are literally thousands of asteroids. So I don't know why I stopped. I think I got involved in some other things, and I was going through my website, cleaning some things up, and I realized, I really should consider going back to this work. And with that said, somebody, one of you out there, reminded me that maybe I want to do more of these. So I thought I would do a very quick video today on the more asteroids. So we're going to look at 6 more asteroids today. I do not have glyphs for these asteroids. As a matter of fact, after we did the original 45, a lot of us stopped with the extra glyphs because once you start getting into thousands and thousands of asteroids, that's a lot of glyphs to try to keep straight in your head. It was just easier to use the words. And as I am as I have pointed out, I should say, in other videos, when I do things like medical, I will only call up or utilize those asteroids that are related to that illness. And, or if you're doing a big workup, then you kind of narrow it down once you get in there. But today what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be talking about 6 asteroids that I use for counseling astrology. So these are used in the work that I do when I do charts for clients, or if I do return charts, lunar returns or solar returns. These are very, very important asteroids. They give great detail to what might be going on at the time. So today we're going to look at Borasisi, B-O-R-A-S-I-S-I, Borasisi. So what it means, and hopefully I'm saying it correctly, is it's an asteroid of, quote unquote, faulty perceptions. So in this situation where you would run into a Borasisi, you would really want to see where that leads in the chart. That's a rabbit hole you might want to jump into, only because it could be very informative with regards to what areas of your life you have faulty perceptions. As an astrologer, I have seen this particular asteroid work in many, many ways and in many situations. I also want to clarify that each of us, every single one of us, self included, has Borasisi in the chart. And with that said, we have an area of our life where we're more prone to faulty perceptions. So with that said, you would want to look at what house Borasisi falls in. You would also want to check any aspects that line up with Borasisi, including things like, what if it was Mercury, right? Your faulty perception is your thinking. There's something that you're thinking that's wrong. So it's really, really good to kind of understand your own Borasisi. The other one I want to talk about, and there's actually 5 more, is Achilles. And yes, it is exactly what it sounds like, and one of the reasons why I included it in today's list, because some of the words are a no-brainer. And Achilles is our weakness. Who knew? It's our weaknesses. It's the pit we continually find ourselves back in. I actually have created a glyph for Achilles with a circle, I believe, with an arrow in it. It kind of points to a weakness. It's like, if you look it up in your chart, what house does it fall in? How does it aspect? It's going to explain a lot about how your weaknesses might show up more in one area of your life, and showing how they're aspected will show you how you either deal with those weaknesses or how you're led down the beaten path to repeat that over and over, because it's your Achilles. With that said, I wanted to also look at Asteria. Asteria is prayer, meditation, but it's also what we turn to when we're going through difficult times. It's a spiritual energy. It helps us to maybe center ourselves when we are going through something. And again, it can indicate in your life path what house it falls in, where it affects you the most. But I like to think of Asteria more as what gets you back on the path when you are spiritually getting off the path. Here we go, Berassus with Asteria. I mean, things literally, if these asteroids start connecting to each other, they're really giving you a story, and you might want to pay attention to that story. So you could have Berassus because of your faulty perception has now led you to a place where you're feeling a strong need to go meditate and sort this out in your brain. Okay. So Asteria is, I like to look at it as our, going back to the original source within ourselves, our own spirit guides, our own angels, if you will, the entities that work with us could be connected through Asteria. And one of these days I might do a whole bunch of asteroids that are spiritual, like Poseidon, Asteria, and a few others that might help us, for those of us who really want to pursue a more spiritual path in this lifetime. The other three asteroids, so I'm getting to my second half, we're going to start with Destin, because Destin means exactly what it sounds like. As a matter of fact, we also have Karma on my list. So I did try to get some of these to connect up. Destin and Karma, it's really ironic because for me they're like literally square. So they're together on a dial. But think about what is destined, or you get into these situations and you're like, wow, that really feels like it's meant to be, or it's really destined. But think also about how we meet up with karma over and over again in life. Sometimes good karma, sometimes it's destined to be good karma, sometimes it's more difficult karma, but it's still very destined. And if you look in the chart, and here we go again, how is this aspected? How does Destin and Karma, and by the way, Destin is spelled Destinn for the asteroids, whereas Achilles is spelled just the same, which is why I ignored it. Asteria, same thing, Asteria, exactly as you would expect to spell it. Destin is a misspell. Okay, but that's what we do sometimes when we're naming the asteroids, okay? Karma is spelled Karma. Karma. So when you have destined and you have karma, they're going to fall in a house. They're going to fall in a place where they're going to have aspects. They're going to, in the dial, have conversations set up. All of this can really help you understand more about your own destiny and your own karma. Like, what is it that you kind of decided before you got here? What are those blueprint energies that you kind of decided before we got here to this earth plane that maybe we really want to deal with, or we really, really want to work with? So that's where Destin and karma might show up. The last one I want to look at is called Malete. Melete. And it really goes with the other asteroids in a way. And I did try to, like I say, I did try to coordinate them a little bit. Malete is pondering, wondering. So you got Berassus, and then you got Malete. And you might be wondering about where that faulty perception is. You could also Malete with karma and destiny. There could be a lot of pondering, a lot of wondering about that. When you do lunar returns and solar returns, you're also looking at areas of your life that might be going through something in the next year or the next month, depending on what it is. And during that, you might be wondering about certain Venus, money, relationships. You might be wondering about the midheaven, your destiny, your career, where you want to be as you're showing the world. So when you use these particular asteroids, you want to look not only, or as my teacher likes to put them, the little rocks. And I do want to say before I end the video that my information is the results of my studies with Martha Lang Westcott, who has her own website. Of course, you can't get to the real good stuff unless you're a subscriber to the website, but she has an incredible amount of information on there regarding asteroids, how they work, particularly medical asteroids, because she is an international medical asteroid person. And I think that she has a lot of stuff in there that literally will draw you in and hopefully create a lot of interest in these little rocks. But if not, you can always visit my website, which does, I think I've done 7 or 8 videos that are named Asteroid Part 1, Part 2, but I also did something called Truth and Lies, which features all of the asteroids that would be related to lying or to telling the truth or finding out the truth. Okay, again, Malete Brassicis would be really interesting if it connected with any of those asteroids. So one of the things I really hope to do with this website, and I want to get back into it, is really encourage people to get interested in, become interested in the little rocks and all of the benefits that they provide anyone who studies astrology. With that said, thank you for watching this video, and thank you to all of the people who are supporting this channel. Until we meet again, I wish you all only happy readings.